Welcome to Breadcrumbs. This is the prophetic journal of a girl who's more than happy to eat the crumbs off the Master's table. If you're like me, then listen and be encouraged that even in the whispers and mere shadows, our God still speaks, and He has a lot to say. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it again and again, but by nature, I am a really proud woman. My pride typically doesn't show up as me elbowing my way to the front of things or being the loudest voice in the room. My pride looks a lot like being so caught up in my own passions, my own inner musings, that I don't see people sometimes. My pride looks a lot like being frustrated and irritated if someone's need slows me down, forces me to pause, change direction from my sprint in a particular direction. My pride looks like being offended when someone suggests that I should consider maybe setting aside, pressing pause on the things I'm pursuing so I can help someone else in their pursuit. My pride has looked a lot like scorning the subtle, the quiet, the muted, the cautious and the slow, because I've always valued a full-bodied chase after that which is vibrant and alive and here and now. And so it's not surprising that in this season of cleansing, scouring, purifying, the Lord has spoken to me over and over again about how the last will be first and the first will be last. Just listen to what came up in my daily Bible reading. I'm in Isaiah 30, and this is what the Lord says. In returning to me and rest, you shall be saved. In quietness and confident trust is your strength. But you were not willing, and you said, no, I will flee on horses. We will ride on swift horses. Swift horses are not His way. Not yet. His way is rest and quietness and confident trust. That's our strength. With great care and painful persistence, He has shown me over and over again that as I'm climbing the mountain, I'm to pause, I'm to look back at the stragglers, and I'm to reach a hand down to haul them up so that they can scramble past me and climb higher, and I'm to watch them go, and I'm to rejoice that they're on their way. I'm to go last. He has rebuked me lovingly through John, the son of thunder, who was clamoring for the first place and had to be taught to joyfully go stand at the back, that therein is love. One of the ways that He's continued this particular lesson is to keep me very low in the prophetic. He's playing the long game with me. And last night I got confirmation that that is exactly where He wants me. I was spending time with a community of people that I am growing to love very, very much. And one of them shared a dream that he had. In the dream, people were coming to him, and they were so discouraged because they felt like they were stuck. It frustrated them. They worried that they were missing it. They were anticipating an increase, and it just wasn't coming. And my friend said that in the dream, what he kept telling them was this. He said, it's like you're on an elevator, a small enclosed space. And yes, the Lord could open the doors, and then you'd be free to explore the entire floor. But it's in the elevator that you will actually go up. The elevator is what takes you to higher floors. Probably best to stay in the elevator until He opens the doors. A few months ago, I had a dream that exactly parallels this. Jesus came and He took me to a place where I could see a river expanding out in front of me. And it was an old river. You know that river is an ancient thing by the sharpness of its curves. When they start to loop back in on each other, it's carved its way into the side of the earth for so long that what was once a rushing torrent has dwindled to a slow, steady, winding pathway. In this vision, the coils of the river were so close together, between each coil was a few feet of grass. And I eyed them, and I thought how easy it would be for me to just skip across from curve to curve and take a straight route instead of following that river. And Jesus was very clear with me. He just knows me so well. He read my thoughts, and with a sparkle in his eye, but definitely a firmness in his voice, he said, "No shortcuts." And then he added, "King's orders." He gave me a sense that this winding river was exactly where he wanted me, to take each curve as it came, going at the pace that the water set. I was to rest and I was to learn with every turn and bend. He called it the ancient way. And in my mind's eye, he showed me that when a river gets old enough, at some point, the curves end up touching. And when that happens, it's like the river is rebirthed back into its youthful torrent, its straight path. He was telling me, just wait, just wait. From an earthly perspective, the person on a rushing river, that person will come first. The person on the slow ride along the meandering river, they're going to come last. But the biblical principle is this, that the last will come first in his kingdom. Poor, the lame, the slow, the obscure, the hidden, the silenced, the wounded, the rejected. Those are the ones he will bring to the front of the line. Those are the ones who will come first. Makes me think of that Aesop's fable about the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. I think Jesus, he would probably say low instead of slow. And so I'm just passing along a reminder today to be patient, to try to resist looking through your natural eyes at the tight, confined space you're in, at the slow, winding path you're on, and know that he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows where he needs your feet to be planted for you to be able to go up. He always has. He always will.
It's really strange how often your podcast lines up with things that I'm learning with my own Bible reading or podcasts or Bible studies. But yesterday I was listening to a podcast by Dr. Curt Thompson. It's called the Being Known podcast, and he's doing a series on wisdom. When you talk about the ebbs and flows of the river, you said something about this is the ancient way. Dr. Curt Thompson also brought up in his podcast that the ancient scriptures, the Old Testament and the New Testament, are meant to be circular, meaning we bounce back and forth between the old scriptures and the New Testament, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Also in our life, you know how sometimes when we're working through things from our past and the trauma and how that impacts us today, he said we're meant to continue to do that. Like sometimes we resolve things from our past and then we feel like God brings it back up again and we have to view it through a new lens and be taught something new in something that we felt like was already resolved. And he talked about how frustrating that can be, and I just thought it was interesting that you mentioned the ebbs and flows of the river and that being of the ancient way, and then Dr. Curt Thompson talking about how the ancient way of the scriptures is circular and how we read them and how we apply them to our life is circular as well.
If you want to interact with any of these episodes, if the Lord has spoken to you about similar things, then I really want to hear about it. This podcast has an Instagram account over at Mildly Prophetic. I'll put that in the show notes. If you hop over there, you can share the things you've seen and heard. You can ask me questions. Basically, you can add your breadcrumbs to mine. And if we gather them all up, then what a feast it'll be.